Welcome to r/Bestof Redditor Updates, where we slowly watch OP's life spiral down the toilet. Our next Reddit post comes from r/relationship advice. My wife, who's 36, and I, a 40-year-old guy, have been together 5 years, and we got married last year. We definitely have our ups and downs, but we're generally happy. On Friday, my wife went out with people from her work for Christmas drinks and arrived home around midnight, absolutely hammered. She said she had a good time and went straight to bed. Yesterday, I got a message on Instagram from an anonymous account claiming to be one of her colleagues, saying that she had been flirting all night with one of the guys from the office who's 44, and they'd left together at about 9 to walk to the train station. The colleague had a couple of more drinks, then went to the station herself, and says she saw my wife walking hand in hand with the guy through the station at about 10:45. They didn't see her. Last night, I showed my wife the message and asked her for an explanation. She claimed she was so drunk she doesn't remember anything that happened after about 8 p.m. I asked if she went somewhere with the guy after they left the group, and she checked the location history of her phone, which confirmed that they had gone to a bar near the station for about an hour. They arrived at the station at 10:40. She gave me her phone and insisted I check it, and there were no suspicious messages or anything. As far as I could tell, she doesn't have the guy's number in her phone, and they're not following each other on Instagram or friends on Facebook. I asked if she was flirting with him, and she admitted that she was talking mostly to him all night, but that's just because he's the only person in her office she has anything in common with, and they're just friends and it wasn't flirting. She mentioned this guy to me before and said how much they have in common. I asked if they were holding hands, and she said she doesn't remember, but she doesn't think so. She claims to know who sent me the message and says it's a woman in the office who hates her, although she doesn't know why. Today, she's been in a terrible mood, and we've not really spoken. So that's where we are. I'm not sure what to do. Is this as big a red flag as it seems to be? Then, 9 days later, OP posted an update. My wife Sam came home from work on Monday and casually said that she had spoken with the guy, Tom, and he confirmed that they hadn't held hands. They had just been walking arm in arm because she was drunk and wearing heels. I asked her why her colleague, Helen, would make an Instagram account, track me down, and message me saying they held hands if it wasn't true. My wife said that Helen is basically in love with Tom and made a pass at him just after his divorce, but he rejected her. I asked why Helen would feel threatened by her. She said because her and Tom are friends and Helen's a crazy, jealous B-word as evidenced by the Instagram message. I asked why she went for a drink with just her and Tom. She said that, according to Tom, they walked past this bar with an amazing live band playing, so they stopped in for a drink. Her only regret was doing too many shots too early and getting hammered. The next day, she went shopping after work and came home with a new dress. I asked what the occasion was, and she said it was for her work Christmas party. Last week was just drinks with people from her office. The company Christmas party is on Friday. Apparently, she'd mentioned this. I hardly slept that night. The next day, I decided to reply to the Instagram message to get some more info. I asked, "Do you think anything is going on with them?" Helen, I assume, quickly replied with a long message saying that they flirt at work and everyone's noticed. Apparently, my wife Sam was going to be let go, but Tom put in a good word so she kept her job. Tom protects her in the office and will constantly defend her. She also said that Sam complains about me to the whole office, and it's clear that we don't have a happy marriage. I asked Helen if she was going to the Christmas party, and she said that she was. She said that she would update me if anything happened. Sam finished work early on Friday, so she had time to get ready. She looked amazing, and I really didn't want her to go, but I felt like I couldn't say anything. I got an Instagram message around midnight saying that Sam and Tom hadn't interacted at the party, but that people from the office had decided to leave and go to a different bar. They all left just before 11, and they were at the new bar by 11:10. Sam and Tom turned up just before midnight. Yo, Helen's a real bro here. Presumably, there's still a lot of story left. I'm kind of interested to see where this is going, but Helen seems like a bro. Sam arrived home about 2 a.m., not quite as drunk as the last time, and went straight to sleep. I pretended to be fast asleep. I looked at the location history on her phone. After leaving the venue, she'd taken a 3-mile detour to a residential street, stayed for half an hour, then went to the bar. I sent the address to Helen. She didn't reply until the next morning when she said that it was Tom's house. When Sam woke up, I just asked her straight out if she cheated on me with Tom last night. She angrily denied it. I told her that I knew she'd been to Tom's house. She accused me of spying on her, called me controlling, said that she was going to stay with her sister. I demanded an explanation, and she said that she went to Tom's house so they could smoke a joint before heading to the bar. Then she stormed out. She wouldn't reply to my messages or answer my calls all day Sunday. I called her sister, who said that she hadn't seen her, but she would text me later that she had spoken to Sam and that she was okay. Sam came home yesterday morning. I asked where she'd been, and she just said she couldn't do this anymore and wants a divorce. She went to start packing some clothes while I tried to get her to talk to me. I asked if she was leaving me for Tom. She once again denied anything inappropriate had happened between them, but said that my jealousy was the final straw. That it's clear I don't trust her. I'm controlling. I take her for granted. She's deeply unhappy and has been for a while. So she's gone. It looks like I'll be spending my first Christmas alone. I have no idea if she was telling the truth or if it was an affair. Weirdly, I'm not feeling too bad today, so maybe this is for the best. Then, 20 days later, OP posted an update. Once she was gone, Sam blocked me on all of her social media and refused to return my messages or answer my calls. I ended up traveling to the other side of the country to spend Christmas with my parents. On Christmas Eve, Sam came home and took more of her stuff. I watched her on our security camera. I tried phoning her, but she just ignored my calls. I'd been getting sporadic updates from Sam's sister, just letting me know she's alright, but without any details. Before all this happened, we had made plans to spend New Year's Eve at Sam's favorite bar in the city. I went on my own, but she didn't show up. On Tuesday night, I received an Instagram message from Helen saying that Sam and Tom had arrived at work together in Tom's car. I didn't bother replying. On Wednesday night, Helen sent another message saying Sam was poisoning the office against her and that Tom was pushing upper management to transfer Helen to another office or get rid of her. She begged me to do something. I texted Sam and said we needed to talk, but she didn't reply. So the next day, I called her work switchboard, gave a fake name, and got put through. I could tell she wasn't happy to hear my voice, but she agreed to meet up after work at a local pub and talk. I got there early, and she arrived 25 minutes late. She apologized for ignoring my calls, but said she still cares about me and wants to end things on good terms. I said to just tell me the truth. She promised that she wasn't having an affair with Tom and that they were just friends. She admitted that they talk a lot in the office, but insisted it wasn't an emotional affair. She understands why I was suspicious after the Instagram message, but said that I should have accepted her denial and trusted her. She has a lot of male friends, but she felt like she couldn't hang out with them because I'd get jealous. I pointed out that I've never told her not to hang with anyone, but she said that I'd be in a mood whenever she'd hang out with a guy friend. She feels like we only got married to try to fix a relationship that was already broken. Our conversations have devolved into small talk, and we've drifted apart. I said I'd heard that she and Tom arrived at work together. Sam said that she went to Tom's after I accused her of cheating and knew that it was over between us. They spent the weekend together and agreed that they would make a better couple than we did. She needed me to know that nothing happened between them until after she told me that she wanted a divorce. And now they were together. And she wanted me to hear it from her before I saw it on social media. Tom was waiting outside for her in the car. All I could do was stand up and walk out. Sam texted me saying she knew that I was upset, but not to do anything stupid. I blocked her number. I'm not gonna lie, it was a rough night. The next day, I was just numb. I didn't really do much. Over the weekend, I dug out our marriage certificate so I could start divorce proceedings. I have no idea what to say to Helen, so I haven't replied. Then, 4 months later, OP posted an update. My soon-to-be ex-wife is pregnant and has suggested to her friend that it's mine. The only way that's possible is if she's had our final frozen embryo implanted without my permission. If that's what she's done, either the IVF clinic hasn't asked for my sign-off or she's somehow convinced them that I've granted permission. When I left our shared house in January, I couldn't find my passport, so it's likely she has it. Then, 4 months after that, OP posted another update. My ex-wife is pregnant with our first child due on Christmas Eve. When I found out she was pregnant, I contacted the IVF clinic, who explained that the contracts we had signed at the start of the process were still valid and they hadn't done anything wrong. I disagreed, and thanks to the recommendations of rSlash Legal Advice UK, I hired solicitors specializing in clinical negligence and contract law. They managed to negotiate a settlement with the clinic in lieu of legal action, and my ex and I ended up with about £80,000 each after fees. Plus, the clinic updated their processes to require consent be confirmed by both parties before any embryo transfer takes place. For the last 4 months, I've been in regular contact with my ex, discussing settlement negotiations and traveling down south for scans. When I asked why she did it, she just said that she knew this was her last chance to have a baby, and when she came into some money, she took it as a sign that she should go ahead with the embryo transfer before I remembered and withdrew consent. She's since been diagnosed with bipolar disorder, which in her mind has absolved her of any responsibility for her actions. She's desperate for us to get back together and raise our son as a family. I'm not interested in being a couple, but obviously I don't want to be 200 miles away from my son. I've got a new job, so I really don't want to move back down to Hampshire, but she was willing to move up to Yorkshire as long as we live together. So we agreed to, oh my god, OP! So we agreed to spend the settlement money on a house in my hometown. OP, I hate to victim blame and call the victim an idiot, but OP, you are such an idiot. I picked up the keys last week, and I've been furnishing and decorating in preparation of us moving in next week. Then there's a couple paragraphs of OP just asking, any advice on how to make this work? and he ends the post with, I hope I'm not being unbelievably naive and making a huge mistake. My parents are excited to be grandparents, but they're not keen on the idea of us living together. There are 2 more updates. I don't know what's in them, but I am very confident that this was an unbelievably naive and huge mistake. Then, 3 months later, OP posted an update. To say that my last post got a negative response would be an understatement. It was a strange feeling reading all the replies saying what a mistake I was making after putting in so much thought and spending lots of time and effort to get where I was. I met a therapist the next day and explained the situation. He thought the whole thing was a bad idea. But we were now living together, so he agreed to help us navigate things as smoothly as possible. He thought couples therapy would be the best option. Sam and I have seen him every week since then, and gone through our entire relationship. After 4 miscarriages absolutely wrecked Sam's mental health, I started cooling on the idea of continuing to try for a child. Instead of talking to Sam about this, she so desperately wanted to be a mom, I thought this would break her. I just pulled away from her instead. Of course, she noticed and blamed herself and began spiraling. Couple this with undiagnosed bipolar disorder and the hormone issues which resulted from the IVF, and it was a recipe for disaster. Sam thought, possibly correctly, that I wanted out of the relationship but was too cowardly to come out and say it. So I just checked out and waited for her to get sick of me. The whole Tom situation was the straw that broke the camel's back, so she gave up fighting for our marriage and let me get out guilt-free. In therapy, I've learned to accept my responsibility for the breakup of our marriage. I wasn't a good husband towards the end, and it's a miracle that Sam stuck around as long as she did. The time apart made me realize how much I still love her. We've agreed to try to embrace what's happened and be thankful it brought us to where we are now. Hopefully, we've both learned our lesson and will make our relationship stronger. I know I have. So we're now back living as a couple. I canceled the divorce, which was taking ages, as Sam refused to engage with it. Our son was born December 11th, 2 weeks earlier than expected, and he's absolutely perfect. I'm holding him as I write this. Then, 5 months later, OP posted an update. Oh geez, the title is, Can I Take My Son Out of the Country Without His Mother's Express Permission? My wife gave birth to our son in December. She suffers from untreated bipolar disorder, and after Christmas, she developed severe postpartum depression. We agreed that she would go and stay with her mom for a week, as she was spiraling and needed a break. She never came back, and we're no longer in direct contact. Our last conversation was over a month ago, and it did not go well. She apparently has no interest in being in our son's life or even getting updates on him. As far as I know, she's still living with her mom 200 plus miles away. I've been offered a secondary work assignment at my company's Swedish office covering maternity leave for a year. I want to take it, but I don't want to tell my wife, as she would likely try to throw a spanner in the works. I have my son's passport and original birth certificate. Can I just go without telling her? We also own a house together, which I would like to rent out while I'm away. If she turns up out of the blue and finds someone else living there, could she do anything? There's no mortgage and all the bills are in my name, but she's on the deeds. To be clear, if she ever decides to unblock me and wants to see our son, then of course we would come back. I'm not looking to take him away from her forever, but I think this would be good for us. OP is genuinely one of the most naive people I've ever read in one of these Reddit stories. How can he still be hopeful and optimistic now after all this? She just betrayed him and betrayed him and betrayed him and betrayed him, and he's like, well, I hope things end smoothly with her. If she wants to see her son, then of course I'd come back. I just love her, gosh golly darn. Oh, jeez. I can't believe he went in halvesies on the house, and her name is on the deed. Oh my God, this is such a mess. I really don't think the wife being bipolar is a problem here. I think her being a bad person is a problem here. That was r/Bestof Redditor updates. And if you like this content, check out my podcast where I publish the exact same episodes. Also, hit that subscribe button because I put out new Reddit videos every single day.